Shalom. I'd like to first start out by giving all honor and glory praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that teach this truth and rule well, while shalom to the sincere Akim that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that's pushing this truth in sincerity and in charity. My name is Yaramya out of the GMS Indianapolis camp, the branch out here in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, just want to do a video based on this article right here, where it's going into Esau Edom's technology, okay, and through the spirit, how Esau Edom wants to integrate this technology into this MOTB system, all right, that he's preparing. Okay, so without further ado, the header says, biometric iris scanning launches in U.S. cities for digital identity. It says how eye scans and blockchain could change the way you prove you're human online. All right, so it goes on to say, it says OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, known for creating ChatGPT, has launched World, a project that uses an eye scan to prove you are a real person online. It says the idea is to help people stand out from bots and AI by creating a digital ID with a quick scan from a device called the Orb. And Esau, he already has technology to prove that you're not a bot on the internet. He would have certain things like certain programs like that will load up. It'll be like click the bicycles in the picture, or click the buses in the picture, or you would have to type in a certain phrase, but you see Esau, he's trying to take this a step further. All right, and through the spirit, man, he's really setting this technology up, all right, for the MOTB, man, so that he can track you better, man. All right, because Esau Edom, he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be all knowing, just like how Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is all knowing. He wants to tap into that power. He wants to be able to know what it is you're doing 24/7, man. All right, the scripture says we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. It's a reason why he wants everybody to be on social media, on the internet, because he wants to keep track of what you're doing, what you're spending your money on. He wants total control over you, man. And it goes on to say, it says, while Altman says this technology keeps humans central as AI advances, it also raises serious concerns about privacy and the security of sensitive biometric data, with critics and regulators questioning how this information will be used and protected. It says how World ID works. It says World ID relies on a device called the Orb, a spherical scanner that captures a person's iris pattern to generate a unique iris code. It stores the code on a blockchain-based platform, ensuring that users can verify their identity without revealing personal details. It says once scanned, individuals received their world ID. It says which can be used for authentication across various platforms where the World ID protocol has been integrated, including Reddit, Telegram, and Shopify. It says additionally, those who sign up are rewarded with WLD cryptocurrency as an incentive. They get the equivalent of worth $40 worth of tokens, which they can spend, exchange, or share with other World ID holders. All right, you see that? You see that? So, hey, Esau, you see how Esau is gradually trying to, implement, this technology, all right, to condition you to be to accept something like this as normal, because in this age, things are tangible. Tangible currency is being phased out, in a time like this. Everything is digital, everything is on your phone. You can pay, you can put your credit card or debit card on your cell phone, okay? Because these modern day cell phones have NFC or RFID technology integrated in them. Okay, you can get on the bus with, you can pay the bus with your phone. You can pay for food. You can pay, you can use your phone, to pay for things. And Esau, he's gradually, doing this, to condition the people, to when he ushers out that MOTB, all right, that grain of rice. All right, people are just going to accept it as something normal or the next big thing, with this technology, man. You probably won't even be able to board a plane if you don't, if you don't have a world ID or something where they can scan your retina. All right. It's like it. At the end of the day, Esau Edom, he's doing this stuff strategically. If you're not in this man's system, if you're not hooked up to this man's system, into this man's, of the Internet of Things, you're pretty much going to be locked out of society. You won't be able to function in society. And this is what Esau Edom is pushing, man. All right. And all this is leading up to the mark of the beast, man, the MOTB, man. All right. It says aggressive U.S. rollout targets 180 million users. It says World ID is currently available in Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Nashville, Tennessee, Miami, and San Francisco, with plans to expand further. The company aims to deploy 7,500 orb devices across the U.S. by the end of the year, targeting 180 million users. While the technology promises enhanced security, the debate over its privacy implications continue to grow. Yeah, man, because all of this data, being collected. All right, to the what did it say was be collected on a blockchain based platform. Esau got servers has access to all these, servers, man. So, best believe they're gonna have your information, man. All right. And Esau, he already has like he already has your information, man. The government, or this government, hey, you gotta have you gotta have a driver's license, an address when you go to a job. You gotta put your address down. You gotta you gotta have a social security card. You have to have a passport, to leave the country. Esau, through his technology, he further wants to push this, man. All right, and ultimately, man, all this technology, all right, that he's coming out with is at the end of the day is ultimately going to tie into the MOTB, man. All right. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. Hey, man. Hey, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. All right. Satan's schemes. Okay. His plans. All right. Because at the end of the day, the servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, know what this devil got going on, man. We ultimately know what he wants to do with this type of technology, man. Okay. Hey, Esau is trying to get you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true biblical Israelites. All right, he wants to cut you off from your power. He wants to cut you off from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, and he's trying to do that by way of his technology. All right, by this MOTB, that grain of rice. All right, you won't be able to buy or sell. All right, without that technology, you won't be able to function ultimately if you don't have that technology implemented literally inside your body. And that's where the world is headed, man. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. So when Esau Edom comes out with this technology, it's going to affect everybody, man. All right. Rich and poor, free and bond. All right, these people that make, more than 100K, to people that make to people who are billionaires. Okay, to people that are that make 50K a year, to people who are really poor. To people who are, in functioning in these cities. To people who are locked up in these prisons. Okay. It says to receive a mark in their right hand and in their foreheads. All right. And that mark is going into the MOTB. All right. The charagma. Okay. That grain of rice, man. All right. That he wants to insert inside your skin. And if you don't have that device, you won't be able to function in society. You're going to be ostracized out of society, man. All right. All right, and Esau Edom is ultimately doing this because he wants, he wants to be like he wants to, in Esau Edom's mind, he believes that he's better than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. He wants to be that all-knowing power. He wants to be, the ultimate dude here upon the face of the earth, man. But really, this man is a damn snake, man. This man is a serpent, man. All right, he is the wicked, man. All right, that the Bible speaks of, man. All right, and I'm gonna go into the word charagma here in the blue letter. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, and when you go into the word, Salakia is the word mark in the Greek. It says charagma. It says, and this is something physical, man. All right, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark. It says of a mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right, and when you break down that word Antichrist, all right, it's a compound word. Anti means against, and Christ, which goes back to the Hebrew word Hamashiach, which means anointed. Okay, so anti-anointed. All right, this man wants to put that mark physically within you, man. All right, and these people in this society are already, spiritually anti-Hamashiach. They're anti-anointed, because in this world, this is a completely wicked, satanic world. All right, and if you're against Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, if you're against the God of the Bible, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, all right, you're an you would be a so-called antichrist, man. All right, these people are against the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, man. So technically these people are antichrist, man. All right, I don't even like to say that, but they're anti-Hamashiach. All right, everyone around you, man. All right, hey, your family that's in the world. Okay, your co-workers. All right, these wicked ass 2/3 niggas out here, man. All right. Of course, these heathen, by default, it says, this definition 2, it says the mark branded upon horses. Okay, and when you see how cattle and horses are branded, the owners, they take a like a hot branding iron, all right, and they sear it on the cattle with their initials to show to show who that cattle belongs to. All right, and that's what Esau Edom wants to do via his technology, man. Okay, he wants to brand you. Okay, he wants to brand you, Israelites, man. Okay, Esau Edom wants to put that technology inside of you. All right, to show that he owns you, man. All right, but he's not going to get the elect, man. All right, the scripture says, I have 7,000 men that will not bow down to the image of Baal. 7,000 going into completion. So the elect, man, hey, the 144,000, man, they're not going to take that micro C hit, man. The elect is going to endure until the end, man. Hey, the elect, they're going to have faith in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai until the very end, man. All right, the Lord is going to take care of his men, man. All right, no matter what they got to go through, man. All right, hey, to hell with these people, man. These people are going to take that chip and they're going to burn up in them nukes, man. I'm going to end it off right here. I pray this was edifying. I like to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that teach this truth and rule well. Wa shalom to you, Akim, that is just scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, that's pushing this truth in sincerity and in charity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.